Hey everyone, you're listening to Party Time, My Golf Story with Kevin Walsh, and whatever special guest he has today, you can check me out on episode 9 of the podcast. Today I'm wearing Grayson clothes while I'm out practicing because I believe in look good, play good, and follow me on Instagram, Sophia Warren Golf, and hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, welcome to the program. Daniel Gorge is our guest on Party Time, My Golf Story this week. Daniel Gorge plays and practices out of Lakewood National Golf Club, where this podcast originates from. One of my neighbors, Mitch, saw me at a neighborhood party and said, "You got to talk to this Daniel Gorge kid. He's an interesting story. Young man from Canada who's chasing the dream." And that's really what the genesis of this podcast was when we started it 2 years ago. Who are the people that are chasing the dream and what's involved in it? The good, the bad, the ugly, and why it's so important to them to put it all on the line. Daniel Gorge is our guest. Big thanks to our title sponsor, Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course and you're tired of drinking beer, or you're tired of pretending that hard seltzers actually taste good when you know they don't, and don't even get me started about malt-based flavor drinks, try a Party. And if you don't have it at your golf course, then get in touch with the beverage staff or also the golf pros and say, "We need Party here," because it's a premium cocktail for golfers by golfers. It makes all the difference. Paradise Craft Distributors is the exclusive distributor of Party Drinks in the greater Sarasota area, and also the entire state of Florida for that matter. If golf real estate is in your plans, nobody better than the golf real estate pros at suncoastdreams.com, a division of fine properties. Gene Walsh, Samantha Walsh, and Vince Visicaro have you covered. The market is hot. There are some availabilities. It is a great time to buy, especially at Lakewood National Golf Club, where this podcast originates from. And if all that golf has you tired and you need a chance to unwind, BioLit Spa in downtown Sarasota is the place to be for red light therapy, for a hot tub, cold water plunge, a massage, classes in different ways. They got it all right there. Karen, my neighbor, is the owner of it. So check it out. I don't talk about news all that often on the podcast, but I thought it was important to talk about it, all things considered. And let me give you a timestamp on when we are recording this. It's Monday, March 30th, and a couple things going on. First of all, this is the week of the Lecom Suncoast Classic here at Lakewood National Golf Club. So the Corn Ferry Tours in town love this week, by the way. But we have some leftover news from last week, and that involves Tiger Woods. Now, our guest last week on Party Time, My Golf Story, was the author of this book, Project Tiger. Gavin Newsham wrote this book. It's a deep dive into what makes Tiger Woods tick, what his upbringing really was, as up close and personal as perhaps any other book has done. And a couple days after that interview aired, Tiger got himself in the news for reasons that we know. Another car accident, which he has been charged with suspicion of driving under the influence. So if you're infinitely fascinated by Tiger Woods, I certainly am. I've read just about every book. Then Project Tiger by Gavin Newsham is the book for you. Okay, so that's that. Let's say, one more thing. Can't forget this. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, would you please do so? Because that matters to the nerds at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and everything else. And while you're there, please leave a review, a 5-star review, because our sponsors really appreciate that. All right, let's get the man of the hour on board here. Daniel Gorge. Hey, man, you come highly recommended. I want you to know that our mutual pal, Mitch, said, "You got to talk to this guy." And I think he's leaving for Canada real soon. So here we are, brother. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm well, Kevin. And yourself? How are you, man?
I'm doing great. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we could hook this up because you got a big trip coming up. What's going on tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning, I have spent the last 5 months down here in Sarasota, Florida. Tomorrow morning, I am headed back home for the 7 months out of the year. And I'm getting ready for a competitive summer of golf and hopefully some great low numbers out there.
I hope it works out for you. First of all, where is home, and describe your hometown so I can get a feel for what the place is like.
Absolutely. So home for me is a suburb approximately 30 minutes north of Toronto, Ontario, up in Canada. And the population where I'm from is about 150 to 200,000 people. So it's definitely developed. It's a suburb of a city, and there's lots of great golf around where I'm from, which I always look forward to when I get back.
Well, that's cool. And I know you're going back for reasons other than to play golf. I didn't know until today, because we had a little time, like, not that everybody needs to know what our texting was back and forth over the last 24, 36 hours, but I had some changes to the caddy schedule and everything. And first we pushed it back, and then we got back on time and everything. And then you said, well, I'm a caddy. I get it. I didn't know that. Where do you caddy, and tell me about your caddy experience?
Yeah, so I'll start with where I caddy. I caddy at two different courses. One of them, fortunately, is about 5 minutes from my house, and it's called Magna Golf Club. It's a super high-end, luxurious golf course where the membership is fantastic. And I spend about 90% of my time working there when I'm caddying. And another one that I work at is the National Golf Club of Ontario. Actually, it's the Golf Club of Canada, which in my eyes should be the number one golf course in our country.
Wow. And how long have you been caddying, and do you like it?
I do like it. And I've been doing this since I started college about approximately 6 years ago. And I kept that job throughout the spring, summer, and early fall. And I really enjoy. I get a good connection with my clients, and I developed a lot of good relationships over 6 years. And I still caddy for a lot of people that I caddied for 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of my story. Daniel Gorge, professional golfer on the West Florida Golf Tour, and he's got some big dreams ahead. He's got tour school qualifying coming up, and also PGA of America stuff, not to mention different competitive events in Canada. Is our guest here on Party Time, My Golf Story. So tell me this, Daniel, is caddying the vehicle that funds the golf dream? Is that why you do it?
Yeah, so I've been fortunate enough to develop good relationships with my clients to where they'll request me multiple times per week. And throughout a summer, I'll get in 120 to 150 loops. And with the help of my parents, I'm able to save a lot of that money, which is used for my clubs, currently my balls, my gloves, all my travel, all my entry fees. So yeah, I am supporting myself with all that stuff through caddying.
That's cool. You're one of many that have done that. I know guys that caddy over at Concession Golf Club across the street who have done similar things. And it's a grind. It's a grind because I imagine you're on a loop and you probably think, man, I need some work on my short game and everything. But after a loop, you may be tired. Am I telling your story, or it's a little bit different?
It is actually a little bit different, Kevin. And I'm glad you mentioned that because where I caddy, we actually don't have to walk and carry the clubs. I know traditionally the role comes with you'll have one caddy for two players, and you'll be double bagging it with the bag on each shoulder walking down the course. Whereas where I'm from, a lot of the members want to have me in the golf cart driving around with both their clubs on the back, and they walk the course. So I'm able to save a lot of energy with that and still spend a good 5-6 hours after I loop practicing on my game.
That's cool. That's cool. Because you got to have the energy, I think, to practice appropriately. Because if you're tired, you could be grooving bad habits, and that doesn't work. So, tell me about turning pro. How long has it been, and how long have you been chasing it, as we like to say?
I've been chasing it throughout college, with always the aspirations of turning pro afterwards. And I officially turned pro in November of 2024. So it's been a little over a year now, and I've definitely seen some progress. Changed my swing coach, working with a guy out in Knoxville, Tennessee, who's helped me tremendously, and we're on a good trajectory with that.
Good. Well, as of this recording, you're number 46 on the points list, West Florida Golf Tour. Tell me this, the difference between high-level amateur golf and professional golf at any level. What was it, a bit of a wake-up call for you?
I would say it's a little bit of a wake up call, especially with how consistent a lot of the top guys are that even I'm competing with that will eventually move up to the Americas Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, and maybe PGA Tour. But just starting to match that level of consistency and getting to see it on display is huge. It is a wake up call, and you got to really work hard for it.
Yeah, there's no getting around the hard work. I mean, the grind is the grind. Do you love it all, or are there some days you may say to yourself, "Man, this is a bit much," or you're just head over heels in love with the game?
I've been in love with the game ever since I was 2 years old, and I've ever since my dad took me to the park to start playing it, and he always made a point to make sure that I had fun while I'm playing it. And it got to the point when I was a kid, I was the one who wanted to go play golf, and I'm still that way. I never need push from anyone to go out there and practice and get better. So I'm fortunate to think very positively about that, and I think it's what keeps me going every day to go out there and try and get a little better.
Wow, 2 years old. How long before you were playing real golf and not just sagging along and hitting balls? Like, do you remember your first experience on the golf course?
Absolutely. I remember, I got a good story for you with this one. I would have been about 5 years old out on the golf course, and I'm out there playing, running around as a kid would, hit the ball, go run after it. And as you could imagine, by about 9 holes, I'd be absolutely gassed. So what my dad would do is he liked to walk, and so did I. So he would carry around a wagon to pull me in for the back nine when I was absolutely exhausted.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Would you take a snooze in the back or just kick back and have a Coke?
For sure. I'd be done, man. I just ran like a few miles as a kid. So I was done.
And your dad's lugging a wagon behind him. Man, I've never seen that before. I wanted to. You got to send me a picture. There's got to be a picture of that somewhere.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get one.
College. Where did you go and why there? And what was the college experience like for you?
College for me, it is difficult, I must add, before I get going on this, as a Canadian, to get recognized by U.S. schools. So I was fortunate to have a few opportunities in which I ended up selecting Longwood University to do my college tenured at, which is in Southern Virginia, small town. Town's about 9,000 people, and the college is about 4,500 to 5,000. So it's totally built around the university. And a few reasons why I went there was, first off, I really appreciated the coach. He's a family man who gives everyone a fair chance to play. And if you're playing well right before an event, you're going to be playing. And if not, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're the best player on the team who can't qualify, then you're not going to be playing. So I always had a fair chance to play. And second off, I've never been into going out or drinking or partying or any of much of that stuff. I'd rather just get my rest so my body can be healthy for the next day. And that school helped keep me focused by the size of it, because there wasn't always a lot to do. So I always had time to rest and get prepared for the next day, the next competition. Even if it was conference championships in 5 months, I wanted to be ready.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the culture of Virginia? Southern hospitality, Canadian kid coming to America.
I found everyone to be very nice with Nicole. They're always looking to accommodate you, looking to help you in any way they can. But a little bit of a culture shift was some people are sedentary in their life and they're not always trying to get better. So I feel like myself, along with a few of my teammates, we were actually able to chat behind closed doors and change the culture of that team around. And we actually ended up having some success in my 4th year there, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Well, let's just get to it right now. What was the success? Let's
do it. So when I was there, when I first got there, we were ranked about 205, 210 in the country. And we were there for at least my first year until we had a chance to change that. And then my senior year, my 4th year, by the time I graduated, we were in the 160s. So we come up 50 spots in the rankings. And a big part of that was in my conference championship in my 4th year, we were fortunate enough to win. And I actually was able to win my last match to make that happen in the final.
Oh, that was cool, man. That's like putting a cherry on top at the end of it. What'd that do for your confidence, by the way?
I think the biggest thing for my confidence was realizing that I could do it at that level. And I already knew that I could, but to put it out there and be able to see it upon that, it's huge when you're in a pressure situation, which we usually are when we're on the golf course, because every shot matters.
Daniel Gorge, professional golfer from Richmond Hill, Ontario, Canada, is our guest. He plays out of Lakewood National Golf Club, so he is my neighbor and your neighbor too. A lot of our viewers are in the neighborhood, and they wanted to see you, Daniel. So I'm glad we could bring you to them. Being Canadian, we're starting to see more and more Canadians make it on the PGA Tour. I'm just wondering, were there any professionals from Canada that you looked up to more than others?
I would say growing up, when it came to being calm, cool, and collected on the golf course, as well as hitting the ball very well, I looked up to Corey Connors playing golf, just how consistently he gets his way around the golf course. And obviously, if you're Canadian, you know about Mike Weir, who's our only Masters champion. And just him putting that pedigree out there and the path to follow is huge for all of us, all Canadians. And then I'd say a more recent one, who he might even be a year younger than me, who's just finished top 5 at the Players. And then he just finished tied for 6th at the most recent event in Houston on the PGA Tour, is Sudarshan Yalamaraju, who I played with, I competed against, and I was able to practice with a little bit when we were younger. And to see his progress is definitely inspiring.
It's inspiring. When you see that, do you say, if he can do it, I can do it? I mean, does he seem leaps and bounds better than you, or do you feel like you're close to that? Because you're right, his star is rising. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, when we would play back when we were younger, we'd be neck and neck, and I definitely think his ability to shoot 7, 8, 9, 10 under in a round is better than mine. But if we go out there and we're both playing well, we'll be right beside each other.
What's the lowest round you've ever shot? It doesn't have to be in competition. If it was, fine. But even if it was a social round, you're playing alone, what's your lowest number?
Now, my lowest number is skewed because it was on a par 65 executive golf course, and I was able to shoot 55 with the bogey. So that would be my lowest number, which is in the 50s.
That's go ahead. Yeah.
On a par 72 golf course, my lowest I've gotten into is 64, which is from the back tees. I wouldn't count anything towards my low as not playing from the backs, which I've obviously gone lower from the front tees and whatnot. But from a 7,000 plus yard golf course, I've made it through 64 shots. I believe it was 4 times in my career. All of these were in qualifying or in competition.
Oh, okay. That's so cool. That's good stuff. Listen, I'm going to count it, whether you count it or not. I count it. So if it was more forward tees, so long as it wasn't the ladies' tees, we're good. All right. So a course with a par north of 70. What's the lowest ever?
Yeah, the lowest ever with a par north of 70 it's 64. The competition, and then when I'm just playing around with my buddies, I've got it down to 62 before on a par 72.
See, I count that. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm more impressed by the 64, but I was wondering if there was one lower. And
there was.
So tell me about the 62, though. Who were you with? What was going on? Good day?
The 62 was a great day. I was at my home course, just in school, the Manor Golf Club in Farmville, Virginia. And I was out there after school with a few teammates, and we were getting ready for our playoff push in the springtime. And we were all playing a little bit of money and trying to keep each other sharp. And I just happened to hit every ball, and I would look up and it'd be right where I was looking, and the putts were going in. So when that happens, golf can be really fun. Although I love it all the time, it can be a really good time.
Well, did you know you had a magical round going early on?
I did, but the way I've trained my brain to work is to not so much think about my score. Mm-hmm. And if I find myself thinking about it, then I'll just break it into 3-hole stretches. So there'll be 6 3-holes out there, and I'll just refocus on what I have going on at this point in the round versus what I've already done.
Well, just take me to the 18th tee, because I want to know where your head was. You had to know your low. Did you know how many under you were? And then what happened on 18?
I actually didn't know how many under I was. I knew that I was 1 under in my last 2, because that's what I had it at, because I started to think about it a little bit, especially when I made the turn. But on 18, all I knew was I was 1 under in my last 2, and I had to go make another birdie just to finish 2 under in my last 3, which is usually what I strive for in my goals out there. And if I can make that happen, then it's going to be a really good day.
So what happened on an 18? Did you birdie it?
Yeah, on 18 at my home course, it's a pretty wide open par 5, and I had a 25 footer for eagle that I just missed out on, and if that went in, it would have been a 61, but it didn't, and 62 were here.
That's cool. But let me dive a little bit deeper and peel back some layers of the onion. So you said you didn't know like the total sum of how many under you are. So that is the way to deal with the nerves that might come from a good round, is to kind of chunk the total round in holes. So you're never thinking, man, I'm 10 under. Let's just get it in the house.
Absolutely. And the reason why that I would break it up into those segments is because throughout a tournament, if you start thinking about where you're at, then your mind's going to be distracted from what you have to do right now, which I think it's a big killer to a lot of rounds. So just having the understanding of that helps me deflect into my strategy.
I love that. Where did you learn that?
Oh, I learned that actually from my psychologist who I work with up in Canada. And that was one of his strategies, because I was very open with him about what happens when things are going well and when things are not going well. And that was one of the strategies he gave me, and I've used it ever since, which I think has been awesome.
That's cool. Now, had you had some low rounds going before where maybe, hey, I'm 8 or 9 under right now and really like to get this in, and maybe you threw up on yourself and then you knew you had a problem and you wanted to talk to somebody who could maybe help you fix it? Is that how it went down?
Absolutely. And I think that's part of human nature, is you're in a situation and you haven't been there and you're not fully comfortable. And then we find different ways to get over that. And I think that was a big help in my strategy of overcoming that issue. And I don't really deal with that anymore, but I definitely have. I've had countless rounds where I've been 3 under through 4, I've been 5 under through 6, I've been 6 under through 9. And before I was able to learn that strategy, then sometimes you start to overthink. And that's part of the future.
So that was a game changer for you, just that conversation and what it led to, yes?
Absolutely. Changed my game completely and gave me a much bigger chance of getting under par and keep going.
Love it. So that's what you're employing on the golf course. How much mental preparation or imagery, psychology, whatever you want to call it, do you do off the golf course?
Oh, off the golf course, I'd say I try and dedicate a good 10 to 20 minutes a day when I'm not in a competitive stretch, just to make sure that my thoughts are positive. Whether that's, a lot of times I'll do meditation, or I'll just lie down in a dark room and just let my mind think about whatever it wants to. And then I'll just work on pulling myself back to the present tense. Usually I can do that through breathing, but just training my mind that once it starts to wander, I have the ability to just bring it back to a neutral state and focus on what I'm trying to do.
Well, are you thinking about golf? Or are you thinking about hitting pure shots, balls rolling in the cup at perfect speed? What are you seeing, or what are you thinking about?
The biggest thing for me is seeing putts go in the hole.
Yeah.
Because if you see putts going in the hole, when you're over a tee ball, you're going to be confident, because if you hit a couple good shots, you're going to make a putt and pay it off. Versus when you can't see them going in, it makes everything else a lot harder.
Help me to see what you're seeing in your head. Are you having an out-of-body experience where you see yourself rolling the putt? Like, say, for example, you're standing behind yourself and there you are, you're stroking it. It's on a perfect line, perfect speed. What's going on? I want to get inside your head.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so when I'm thinking about it, I'm not so much standing there behind me and visualizing myself there, but I'm visualizing myself just thinking about what I'm going to do in that moment when it comes. So I'm not so much huge on the imagery of seeing myself do it as if I'm actually there doing it, but I'm running myself through that situation of when I need to do it and when it's going to be the time to do it. What are you going to do? How are you going to respond? What state are you going to be in mentally? What am I going to be feeling? Because a lot of the times your body tightens up, so you have to work through that. So coming into that with a good picture of what I'm going to be going through when I'm doing that can help me come up with solutions before, so I can be prepared for it.
I think I got it. So when the time is right, when you got to perform, it's like, okay, I've kind of been here before. It's
Absolutely
done the rehearsal.
Yeah.
Love it. Tell me some good golf stories. Just stories that are funny, that have stayed with you. Meeting somebody, something happened. I know you got to have a couple.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with probably my most proud golf story, which I don't know if I would say it's funny or so much, but it's very touching to me and all the people who know me. And this ties back to when I won that match in my conference championship. I was actually I was 3 down through 12 holes, and I was 1 under on my ball, so I wasn't playing bad, but I knew that I had to make something happen. And the icing on the cake for that was I was walking up 13, still 3 down through 12. My coach comes over. He goes, "Well, Daniel, I know you don't check your phone while you're playing golf, but we are 5 down and 7 down in 2 matches, and we're 4 up and 6 up in 2 matches. So if we're going to win this championship, it's going to have to be you that's going to do it." So I guess the funny thing to me is after my coach said that, I focused so much on my breath that I actually didn't realize that he was there. And I couldn't tell you a single conversation that we had throughout those final 6 holes. And felt like an out of body experience where I was able to tap in, and I went birdie, birdie, par, 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 birdie to win the championship on 18. And I was able to see my coach, who'd been coaching him for 32 years at the time, and he was in tears giving me a hug at the end. And I had teammates asking me, "How'd you do that?" So I think that was very touching for me.
Yeah, that's cool. Daniel Gorge is our guest here on Party Time, My Golf Story, professional golfer from Canada, plays at Lakewood National Golf Club and also the Summit in his hometown of Richmond Hill, Ontario, Canada. Big thanks to Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try Party. Much better than those hard seltzers or beer or whatever it is you're drinking. If you're in the market to purchase golf real estate, no better place than Lakewood National Golf Club, and nobody better than the golf real estate pros of Vince Visicaro, Gene Walsh, and Samantha Walsh from suncoastdreams.com. And if all that golf has got you tired, go to Violet Spa in downtown Sarasota. You mentioned breathing twice.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how you breathe. Do you have a particular method?
Yes, I do. And it actually depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. So I've had some very good coaches throughout my past and currently who have helped me understand this. And when I feel like I need to get myself going or need to get my energy up, I'll do a lot of short, quick, aggressive breaths just through my nose. So I'll be in through my nose, out through my nose while my mouth is closed, just to get some oxygen flowing in the blood. And then if I feel myself where I have too much energy or I feel a little bit nervous, then it'll be a different strategy where I'll be in for 3 seconds in my nose, and then I'll hold it for 4 to 5 seconds, and then do a very slow exhale of 6 to 7 seconds. And that really is what helps bring me back to the present. So I can forget all my thoughts, focus on my breathing, remember where I'm at, and then go execute.
2 follow-up questions about that. You talked about the really quick breaths.
Yes.
Is that what Bryson DeChambeau does before he tries to hit a murderous drive?
I haven't seen him do it, and I'm not sure 100%, but it's got to be, because that's the best and quickest way to get yourself going right before you need to do something, especially at a high speed.
Okay. It's probably the same thing because it sounds a lot. How you described it looks like what I see him doing before he hits a 400-yard drive.
Yep.
The other thing, breathing through your nose.
Mm-hmm.
Always through your nose?
Always through my nose, and exhale through my mouth, especially when I'm trying to relax. I need to fill up my lungs completely, get that breath down into my stomach so that everything can relax, then out through the mouth slowly, always.
Okay. Now, where did you learn this?
I actually learned this back, it was my strength and conditioning coach on my regional team called Team York back when I was 13, 14, 15, back in York region in Ontario. And he was just giving a brief overview about the guys on how to calm yourself down, get yourself going. And I was curious, so I asked him. He ended up explaining to me in private exactly how this works and how to do it. And that really helped me out.
Well, there's an incredible book called Breath by James Nestor. And he is a forensic dentist where he talked about the value of breathing. And he specifically says, breathe through the nose. Mm-hmm. Because as much as if you ask a regular person, what is the function of the nose? What's the first thing they would usually say?
Smell.
Yes. No, it's breathing.
Yeah.
It's a much more efficient breathing mechanism than the mouth is. And then you got like ciliary, the nose hairs and everything, which is it's a much healthier way. It's a more efficient way.
Yeah.
Yes. So Olympic athletes, the nose is more for breathing than it is for smelling. So Dan, you've done a very nice job, and I can tell you love the game. But anybody that's played competitively, at least most of the people I know, have come to hate golf at some point. Have you ever been there?
I haven't been there without something causing me to go there. And what I mean by that is injury. And I've been fortunate, and I worked very hard on my body to make sure I am healthy. But throughout college, when you got a busy schedule and you got lift in the morning 3-4 days a week, and you got to go straight into the van for an 8-hour van ride and then go play 4 rounds in the span of 3 days, hop in the van back, you're liable to get injured. And for me, it was a left ankle injury, where it's just I would rehab it and I'd go get it iced, go get it stretched, go get it worked on by our athletic therapists, and it start to feel better over the course of multiple weeks. And then you take one swing with a 7-iron and all of a sudden you're right back to where you started or worse. So I think it's injury is the big thing for me, which I've now changed my approach with that, and I put a lot of time and effort into my body.
That sounds more like frustration, where it's just not working out. You've never been at a point where you've missed multiple cuts, or you're just really struggling with your game. You're putting in the time. You're not really getting the results, where you're just like, God, I hate this. I need a break. You never gotten there?
Never.
It's okay if you haven't.
No, I haven't. I have not. I'm one of my strengths definitely is detaching myself from results, good or bad, and looking at it from an objective viewpoint, and just seeing how can you improve from this, or how can you keep this going to make it even better. And I think detaching yourself from the results is big on loving this game and continuing to love it while you're trying to do it as a job.
Yeah, it definitely helps. We all need coping mechanisms. If that works for you, great. So, is there any timetable? I ask this of a lot of aspiring touring professionals, because there's certain realities. After a certain amount of time, they might have to get on with life. They run out of money. Have you set any timetables for how long you'll chase the dream?
Yeah. So when I started, not last November, but 2 Novembers ago, just over a year ago, I gave myself a 3-year span. And what this 3-year span consists of is just gauging my improvement with results in as the final result, but also how am I doing? How am I performing? How do I feel in certain situations? Is it getting better or is it getting worse? And if I feel like I'm getting worse, or it's the exact same, then after 3 years, I might have to make a job switch. But if I can look at my results and my stats and how I feel about it, and I've seen some improvement, maybe I haven't made it on a tour yet, but I feel like I'm getting closer, then I'll keep chasing it after 3 years. So it's a soft deadline for me, but I'll just gauge it after 3 years and I'll look back and see how I'm doing.
Walk me through what's coming up in the summer and fall, because I know you have some things. You got a lot of looping that you have to do with the 2 clubs that you mentioned earlier, but you're building up to some pivotal moments. What are they? Yeah,
so coming up this summer, the first thing I have coming up in the spring is my U.S. Open qualifier, which I'll be doing down in Springfield, Illinois. I'll be visiting a fellow Lakewood Nationaler called Jake Scott. I believe you've had Jake on this show before.
Yes, of course.
So
yeah, keep going.
And coming up, as we know, the Americas Tour makes its swing over in Canada. So all the ones that are within a 1-day drive, I'll be going to play the Monday qualifiers for all those. And hopefully I can get hot and shoot a 63 and qualify into one of the events. And then up in the fall, among other mini tour events as preparation, I'll be doing the PGA Tour Q School with hopes of getting a Korn Ferry card or a PGA Tour card if I can play some good golf.
Well, I hope it all works out. And are you coming back after that golf journey of the year? Will you come back next winter to Lakewood National Golf Club?
Yes, sir. Whether I qualify for the PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, or whatever it may be, Lakewood National is going to be my home for the winter months. And I will hopefully get to meet you in person, Kevin.
Yes. Okay. We'll play. You, me, and Jake Scott will play. All right.
I'm sure he'd be in.
All right. Daniel Gorge has been our guest here on Party Time, My Golf Story. He is chasing the dream, and he is on the road for Canada. Tomorrow, we're recording this on a Monday. Big thanks to our title sponsor, Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, try Party. The Golf Real Estate Pros, Vince Vizicaro, Samantha Walsh, and Gene Walsh, suncoastdreams.com. And if all that golf has got you tired and you need to unwind and relax and put the body back into shape and the mind back in the place, by a lit spa in downtown Sarasota. For Daniel Gorge, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on Party Time, My Golf Story.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.